This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Saleh, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world and in the UAE. And speaking about the UAE, well, we have two good news. The first one is that the weather is amazing, believe it or not. But we also do have another good news, that the UAE users actually have over 10 social media accounts on different and various platforms.
I was actually quite surprised by this statistic because I didn't even think you could have 10 social media apps out there. I mean, I know there's just so many of them, but for people to be on every platform possible, that's quite an interesting study to find out about. But let us know, how many social media accounts do you have? Our text lines are open. 4215 do Itisalat or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Around the world, China is making headlines today because they are planning on allowing astronauts to stay on the moon for long periods of time. Are they considering creating a little bit of a moon space station rather than having the International Space Station be the docking station for all spacecrafts?
Or they just don't want the Chinese astronauts back. Let us know your guys' thoughts. But TikTok's new feature will tackle bullying and harassment, which is something I'm very passionate about, which is anti-bullying. And I'm very excited to get into that one.
Yes, indeed. In the world of weird tech, Apple is going to be the topic of discussion today because there is a brand new technology that they are launching that could alert you if you're being stalked by Bluetooth trackers. Let us know, are you worried about the AirTags that Apple is launching soon? And what are your thoughts about them?
Yes, and also we're going to be talking about something that has been wanted and needed for a long time. We're talking about Instagram music and now how it is available in the UAE. And actually, I've known this since 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you've had it since 2 weeks ago?
I haven't had it yet, but I've seen it 2 weeks ago. A lot of people have been using it past couple of weeks. I don't have it yet.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, a lot of people, it rolls out differently. Same thing with Twitter voice notes. A lot of people had them.
Yeah,
I didn't have them.
Because I have it, and it's been on and off for a while, so sometimes it plays and sometimes it doesn't, but so far, so good.
I hear them all, but I can't record music.
Okay. I thought you couldn't hear it because in the past you can't even hear it. Let us know your thoughts. We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about users right here in the UAE having over 10 social media accounts.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
How many social media accounts do you have? If you're living right here in the UAE, that is our topic of discussion today because I personally have 4, maybe 5 accounts. What about you?
Including fake accounts?
Oh, God. Now I'm intrigued. Now we're talking. How many fake accounts do you have then?
Like 4.
4 apart from your official?
I have private, fake. I got a lot. I move around a lot on the social media interwebs.
What in the world do you need 5 fake accounts for?
No, one is private.
Okay.
Another is fake. Another is private. Just sound like, why is he talking about me? We're talking about UAE users.
Yeah, but you're a UAE user.
No, and they have over 10 social media accounts.
When he doesn't want to be roasted for his accounts. Anyway.
Everyone has fake accounts.
I don't.
Yeah, you're not everyone, but everyone has fake accounts.
Jeez, thanks. You're not everyone. I mean, I agree. I do see why a lot of people have. I have a public account and then I have a private one. So if I want to stalk anyone, it could be easy to be done through a public account or a private one. But so you said in total you have how many?
More than 10.
More than 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So this study does not. You're the outlier. Is that what they call it? You're the outlier of this study because UAE users typically, or the majority of them, have over 10 social media accounts. And this is not coming from us. This is coming from a study that was done on Arab youth living right here in the Emirates.
Yes. Now, 79% of the Arab youth do consider social media a primary news source, which is 25% increase from 2015. Now, users in the UAE have more than 10 accounts on social media platforms, according to a new study, which did involve 200 participants. And that study did state that 79% of the Arab youth do consider social media, just like I said, a primary news source. Now, on average, users in the Middle East do spend 3.5 hours a day on social media platforms. So, I mean, again, I spend more time than 3.5 hours.
I was just going to say, I mean, 3.5 is not that, it's not that much, especially when you take into consideration the coronavirus lockdown. I was spending all of my day on those platforms.
Now, social media accounts, I do believe, do consider WhatsApp, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram,
even Clubhouse. At this point.
Yeah, basically LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
It's a social media.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. So, yeah, if that's the case, then I probably have like 8.
Yeah, I mean, so having 10 accounts is pretty normal. Now, the report did rely on more than 200 sources and references and followed extensive research conducted by a group of efficient and dedicated researchers in public policy, arts, and journalism.
Yes, indeed. And the report does present the most important trends that dominated social media platforms in 2020. It also reflects the dramatic increase in using social media platforms, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic hit all of us and the repercussions of it. Now, we do hope that, now that people are more aware of how much time they spend on their social media platforms, that this may cause them to be a bit more conscious with the time that they spend on these platforms. Tech companies, social media platforms, and instant messaging apps are still ranked amongst the top companies in terms of value. Google, WhatsApp, and YouTube were actually ranked and rated in the top 10 by audience in each of the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. And I actually came across a very interesting concept that said if you want to see the impact of COVID-19 on your mental health, all you need to do is check your most used apps, and that will basically give you the answer.
Well, my most used apps stayed the same ever since forever. Even before. I've always had excessive amounts on these platforms, and I'm not proud of them, but what can I do? I love socializing, so I'm always here and there, and I love posting content. And if you want to see my content, ladies and gentlemen, you can go and follow me on Instagram, Hanny, HANNY _AB on the
Shameless
Instagram.
Plug.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned socializing, because let's think about it a bit. Are we really socializing on social media platforms?
I'm socializing.
Are you getting to connect with people by liking their photos or retweeting their thoughts?
Most of the time, yes. I mean, conversations do develop when I agree to something that was posted on Snapchat. I have a question about a picture. I liked a picture. Things happen. I mean, not all the time, but most of the time you do have group chats. Group chats do consider them as socializing, as I'm in a group chat with 40 people.
Don't get me wrong. With WhatsApp, I agree. Clubhouse, maybe yes, but with like Instagram, Twitter, I feel like, and even Facebook, it's like a superficial
I have
way
so
of
many good friends
communicating.
Who I've met through Twitter.
You've met, but do you socialize?
Yes, I've met them on Twitter, and I've met them in real life.
Okay.
So I never saw them in real life, but I met them through Twitter.
So they're virtual friends?
No, I met them on Twitter, and then they became real life friends.
Ah, okay. So it started out like an online friendship.
Yes.
And then
for example, in uni, when I used to post, hey, who has this course with 1, 2, 3, 4?
Oh, yes.
And be like, yeah,
days.
I have a course with 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, yeah, well, can you help me?
best friends.
With the test banks? Right? Sure, no problem. Come to W5 at 2 p.m.
The good old days, I swear. Let us know, how have you been socializing on social media platforms? And do you feel like it was a good place to make new friends at a time when social distancing has become the new norm? Our text lines are open, 4215, Dur Ittisalat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Coming up, we're talking all about China wanting its astronauts to stay on the moon for long periods of time. There are two sides to this story. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
The race to space still does continue, but we're not talking about racing to space anymore. We're talking about racing to the moon, as China eventually wants astronauts to stay on the moon for long periods of time. Now, there's two things that we can take from this. Number one is that China doesn't want their astronauts back on Earth or back in China.
I loved your speculation with that one.
Yeah, or China wants to create a base on the moon.
That's where I think they're heading, but I like the fact about, astronauts, they just may want to get rid of astronauts and leave them on the moon. But once China establishes a lunar research station, its astronauts will be staying on the moon for long periods of time, conducting scientific studies and carrying out different forms of research that can only be done if they had, let's say, somewhat of a semi-permanent home on that moon. China has already mapped out a series of missions that will be taking place this decade, and that also includes setting up a robotic base to explore the moon's south polar region ahead of all the manned landings that they're planning to do on the surface of the moon.
Now, just last week, China and Russia did sign an initial pact to set up an international lunar research station, but did not actually disclose a timeline. Now, compared to American astronauts who could only stay for tens of hours after landing on the moon, Chinese astronauts will stay on the moon for a longer period of time. Now, China had successfully launched a series of lunar missions in recent years, including an uncrewed retrieval of lunar rocks just last year, which was the first by any nation since 1976. But China still does lag behind the United States in experience, expertise, and even technology.
Yes, indeed. It's not the head of the space race, so we do see China lagging a little bit behind. And the UAE is actually also coming close to NASA as well. And NASA is planning to return astronauts to the moon's surface by the year 2024. And if we go back in time, we would notice that the last time NASA's crew landed on the moon was in the year 1972. So it's been quite some time since they've considered going back to the surface of the moon, and that's only because they've had other interests, one of them being Mars, another being just making a good old dock on the International Space Station. Chinese rockets currently do not have sufficient thrust to send astronauts to the moon. However, China is aiming to make breakthroughs in their rocket design in the years 2021 up until 2025.
Yes, and China's next mission to the moon, lunar samples of the south pole of the moon will be retrieved. Now, missions will involve a detailed survey of resources in the South Pole and the testing of key technologies and preparation for the construction of the research station, which will be on the moon. Now, I'm very excited to see how one day we might have a base on the moon, and just astronauts will always go to the moon and have a kind of a safety home.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be like
a safe house.
Yes, safe house and a home in space. Let us know your thoughts. Which do you think is true? Does China want to create a base for themselves on the moon, or do they just want to get rid of those astronauts? You know, they've been causing a lot of drama, and keep them on the moon. That's best for everyone right here on Earth. Coming up on the show, we're talking all about TikTok installing and launching brand new features to help tackle bullying. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
TikTok, oh TikTok, the amount of hours it steals from our day. People can spend hours on end scrolling through the different videos, and I must say, they're very funny and they can definitely entertain you in any given hour. But they can also be a place, or the platform can also be a place of bullying. It can be a place that can be harmful to our mental health. And this is exactly why TikTok has launched brand new features to help tackle bullying as well as harassment.
Yes, now the first feature does give creators more control over the comments on their videos. The second does prompt people to reconsider posting unkind or inappropriate comments. Now, I've been on on TikTok for quite some time now.
Yes.
And I've spent a lot of time on TikTok, as I do believe that it's a nice platform, 100%. But I have been coming across a lot of bullying when it comes on TikTok. If someone posts something that isn't funny, people get bullied. Or, you know what they say? They call it cringe. People will be bullied, and sometimes just if they have a weird accent, an English accent, they are bullied. If it's something out of social norms, they'll comment, go kill yourself and do stuff.
God.
Yeah, it's horrible. So I'm glad that TikTok is now taking the approach where they will kind of have repercussions if you do bully people on TikTok.
Yes, indeed. So they're launching two features, just like you mentioned, Hani. One of them is going to give the creator control. They can remove a comment. They can block a certain user. The second one encourages people to not post those unkind comments to begin with. So very similar to what Instagram would do. If you try to post a mean comment, you'll get a pop-up saying, are you sure you want to post a comment like this? And the main aim behind it is that TikTok wants to create a supportive community on their platform. They want it to stay a community where people are socializing with one another, laughing, enjoying all the content and the creativity that you can have by being part of this platform.
Yes. Now, if you guys know, I'm very big on anti-bullying, and I'm very big on making the internet a safe place and a place where anyone can express themselves regardless of their opinion or their content.
Yeah.
And they will not be shunned for it or ashamed for it. And that's why I've been on TikTok promoting positivity, and I'm a big advocate on mental health when it does come to using social media, as we do know that social media is a part of our lives. We just talked about on the show how a lot of people in the UAE have more than 10 social media accounts. So they're spending a lot of time on what? Social media. So when you have that such excess time on social media, you're going to be kind of exploited to people's comments. And if you're posting a lot of content, you will see the harassment. And I've seen it a lot, and I've actually dealt with harassment on social media. I've dealt with it on Clubhouse. I've dealt with it on Twitter. Instagram, not that much. But in general, there's a lot of harassment. People will just make fun of you if they don't agree of what you're talking about, or they kind of see you different. They'll start making fun of you and even insulting you.
I mean, you're definitely right about how much time we spend on the app. So if it's not a positive place, can you imagine the impact it would have on your mental health? And this is exactly why TikTok's new filter all comments feature will help every creator decide which comments will appear on their videos. And at the end of the day, if content creators are being vulnerable, they're putting themselves out there, they have a right to control what they see.
Yes.
And that's what TikTok is giving to every content creator. So once this feature is enabled, comments are not displayed unless the video creator approves of them using this new comment management tool.
Now, we're talking about social media, right?
Yeah.
And I like to talk about, when we talk about cyberbullying, I like to talk about it as a whole. I don't like to specifically target one platform. Now, when we're talking about social media, right? We're talking about how a lot of people meet one another, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about how bullying is now becoming just cyberbullying. There's bullying in real life, 100%. But cyberbullying is a lot easier, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of us are working from home. A lot of us are studying from home. A lot of students are studying from home. So thus, they are more prompt and more exploited to cyberbullying and people just leaving harsh comments. We've talked about on the show various times how a lot of users were bullied because of just things that they posted or the way they look, which is 100% not acceptable on my terms. And the UAE government does not accept cyberbullying. This is not an opinion, it's a fact.
There are laws out there.
There are laws and regulations. You are not allowed to cyberbully someone. You are not allowed to insult anyone. Yes, you have the internet as a free space to learn and explore and gain knowledge from it, make funny videos. But at the same time, and I'm happy that there's something like this, where you can only post content where you do not attack someone else.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you mention, I forgot the point that I wanted to make. Yes, it's interesting that you mention how people are sometimes, they're bored, they've had a long day at school, they've had a long day at work, and sometimes I feel like they empty their frustration in the mean comments that they post on other people's videos. And at the end of the day, it's only hurt people who hurt others. And it makes complete sense why TikTok and many social media platforms have taken it upon themselves to clean up the community, to make sure that only positivity can be spread on such platforms. And the new feature that they're also launching, where it's reminding people who are watching and viewers to only comment kind things. Because at the end of the day, yes, you're frustrated. Yes, it's easy for you to comment something mean on another creator's videos. They won't see you, they may never meet you in real life, but at the end of the day, life is one cycle and you'll be paid back in one way or the other. So might as well just be kind to everyone you meet. You never know what they're going through.
A very good point, but at the same time, we always have to kind of take it as an approach of when you're going to work or going to school. Leave your problems at home and you come and you do your job or you do whatever. And we're talking about social media. Leave your frustration out of it, as the person that you're commenting on or you're harassing doesn't deserve it. Again, we don't know.
Even if it's something you don't like about the video, you don't have to.
I mean, I see a lot
state it in a mean way.
I see a lot lot of horrible opinions that I could go into debates with, and I could actually have constructive criticism about it, but I'd rather keep my mouth quiet, because it is not me. Who am I to ridicule someone and say, hey, I don't like what you said, what you're saying is wrong.
If you don't say dumb, it, click out.
Just go on to the next video. So we want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Do you think TikTok is taking a good approach? And I do believe, and I'm very firm on it, that Twitter is the most toxic platform on the face of the earth.
I agree with you on that one.
Twitter, if you post anything, you could be harassed for it.
Absolutely. Let us know.
And the problem is Tumblr, because Tumblr people, they came to Twitter and they ruined Twitter.
It's like you're talking about, I don't know, a gang.
Yeah, Tumblr
going
people.
from one platform and infecting the other.
Yeah, they infected Twitter with all their negativity and their toxicity. And I could go on forever. I don't, oh my God. But let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215, do a slot or on Instagram, @Pulse95 Radio. We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking about Apple and how they will alert you if you're being stalked by Bluetooth trackers.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Apple. Yes.
Yes, Apple.
Apple.
Our good old friend.
Yes, our very good friend.
Which I must say, Hani did definitely betray Apple.
I didn't betray Apple.
I'm looking at your wrists right now because he betrayed his Apple Watch.
No, I'm not. I just have a second wife.
Second wife, second watch.
Second wife.
Isn't
it's
that
not a
a
watch.
betrayal?
It's a fitness tracker, okay?
Okay. You still
different.
betrayed it.
No, I didn't.
Until you get that Whoop strap off of your hand, I'm still going to keep calling you the Apple betrayer.
No, I mean, apparently the Whoop is more accurate.
That's not betraying Apple.
It's not my fault
Or
that
the
they're
Apple
not more
Watch.
accurate. But we're talking about Apple and how they
Okay.
will alert you if you're being stalked by Bluetooth trackers. Now, Apple's upcoming AirTags will offer a convenient way to track an object, a child, or a pet. But what if someone just slips an AirTag onto your bag and track you without your knowledge?
Now, Apple is quick on its feet, and it appears that they definitely did think about that, and they've provided a solution for all their users. Because with the launch of the AirTags, people are going to be worried about privacy. That's just been the hot topic of the year. And with the new features that are launched in the iOS 14.5 beta, there is a new option that will help protect your privacy when you're using the AirTags. Because the new option is now in the Find My, let's say, phone, AirTag, iPad,
Yes.
you name it. In the Find My app, there is an option called the Item Safety Alert. This feature will alert you when an item that's unknown to you is on your person, or it's on your, list of items that are being tracked, and it's being tracked by Find My. So basically, in simple words, let's say, Hani, you bought an AirTag, you placed it on your wallet, and someone else removed that AirTag and put it somewhere else to be able to track you. You'll be notified that the Bluetooth tracker has moved places and is now being used to track you potentially.
Yes, now AirTags, which have been the subject of rumors since April of 2019, will likely be small, circular objects with Bluetooth connectivity that can easily be attached to other objects, such as bags, bikes, or even clothing items. Now, Apple did greatly expand the functionality of the Find My app in the recent iOS betas, and the new Items tab was added for tracking non-Apple devices, probably through AirTags. Now, the new feature might not be solely AirTags related, but Apple does plan to open its Find My app to third-party accessories, such as Samsung's Galaxy Smart Tag, with support for numerous accessories with tracking capabilities, some of which may be even very small. The potential for malicious tracking does become quite serious. Now, we're looking at Apple in general opening up their app or their iOS for more third-party applicants. For example, now you can keep Spotify your main music app, and we're looking at the same thing happening with AirTags. AirTags, you can have an AirTag, but at the same time, you can have a third-party Bluetooth tracker. For example, Samsung's Galaxy Smart Tag.
Yes, indeed. And my favorite part of it all is the fact that people cannot track you with your very own AirTags, because if, someone, God forbid, has their hands on that AirTag, as an owner of the item, as the owner of the AirTag, you will be able to see that it's now in the hands of someone else, and you can choose to turn it off so that it can't be used against you. But we want to hear from all of you. What are your thoughts on the brand new AirTags, and are you considering buying them? Since I personally find them coming in very handy, but they can be very expensive as well. Our text lines are open, 4215, do it to Salat, or sign into our DMs at Pulse95 Radio. Coming up on the show, Instagram music is now available in the UAE, and we want to celebrate with all of you.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Pulse 95.
I hate when certain features for social media platforms launch in countries before others, because every time I used to open Instagram and they're like, let's say an influencer or someone I know living in the US, UK had music behind their story, I won't be able to hear it. And it would just take away from the entire experience of watching that Insta story. You can't see, you can't hear the lyrics of the song. Sometimes you can see them and other times you can't. But now we are no longer left out because Instagram music is finally available right here in the UAE.
Yes, now just this week, social media platforms Facebook and Instagram have expanded access to their music catalog to an additional 18 countries, including the UAE, Oman, and Saudi Arabia, just to name a few. Now, the feature actually was launched in 2018, so we're 3 years late, but it was not available to people in the UAE. So whenever seeing an Instagram story from around the world with the music feature switched on, many residents in the UAE were watching a muted video instead. But platform users can now have their pick from a large library of songs. Additionally, they can even choose the length of the clip as well as which part of the song they want to highlight in their stories.
Yes, indeed. But also, if that wasn't enough, if the song has lyrics available, they will automatically pop up. So you can actually sing along without anyone finding out or hearing you. Facebook also did come out and say that they are trying to install or launch new features that help people express themselves. At the end of the day, your social media platform is a form of self-expression.
Yes.
You can share music that you like, you can share content that you like, products that you've tried and enjoyed, and now they're focusing on bringing music into the ways people share, people connect, and express themselves. So they've been working with creators and music partners around the world to help us as users connect and share how we feel through the music in our stories.
Yes, and now we have the list of countries Instagram music feature has been added to. Now, number one, we have the UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Palestine, Libya, Bulgaria, Lebanon, Kuwait, Iraq, Jordan, Tajikistan, and even Yemen. So we're looking at a big majority of the Arab world just got Arab music and just got Instagram music. And already I'm seeing Instagram music implementing the Arab genre, the Arabic Khaliji music, the Shami music. So I'm really excited to see how people are going to use Instagram music in the region.
Yes, indeed. And if you're wondering how you can go ahead and try it out, we'll give you a quick how-to guide. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is launch your stories option on Instagram or Facebook. Both platforms work with the music feature now. Take a picture or a video as you normally would, then swipe up and go to the stickers option and select the music button. As a user, you can browse and choose a song of your choice and then select the 15-second part of the song. So now you can actually... Is that Nancy Ajro?
Yeah, I got it. Can you believe it or not?
Perfect.
I have it. I didn't know I have it.
Now you know.
I thought at the end, so what's supposed to happen, or what I saw, is that music would be here.
No, it's part of the stickers now. So you'll find it right there. You can pick the 15-second part of the song that you want your followers to hear. So you can actually pick and choose whatever part of that song. It doesn't have to be the first 15 seconds. And on Facebook, users can actually pin the selected music track to their account. So when, let's say, a follower visits your Facebook profile, they'll actually be able to listen to the song while scrolling through. So it's definitely a great feature to have and to use. And I think the best part about it is that we're no longer are left out from this feature.
So I'm looking at Arabic Party, Essential Khaliji Music. You have so many genres to choose from. And I'm really excited.
You can catch us right here on Future Talk once again tomorrow. Same time, same place from 2 to 3 p.m. Only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.